Last night, another edition of WWE Raw or Monday Night Raw, whatever the official title is, still in Canada. And it was a big edition of Raw, the Raw After Elimination Chamber.
They're never going to leave Canada until Sami quits getting these big pops, because it makes their television show. And thank you for stringing that intro out long enough so I could get the phlegm out after I was wheezing there. So yes, they were in Ottawa, which the unfortunately named city in Canada that sounds like the noise you make right before you vomit. But in Ontario, that's I think, as I remember, I've been there once. I spent a month there one night. And I think that's close to Montreal as you can get, isn't it, in Ontario? So it's still a hometown crowd. It's the home country crowd. You know them Canadians, they're proud people. Proud people. So Sami comes out first thing, and it's Sing Along with Sami. They articulate his song, even though it's an instrumental, and they chant Sami and ole, 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 ole. Apparently now that... See, I was thinking that was some fucking bullfight thing, right? But which went along with El Generico being a luchador from Mexico. And that's why but apparently that's a Montreal thing. Did you know this?
I don't know what's what, because when Jose Reyes came up to the Mets in like 2003, 2004, the Mets fans all started chanting, Jose, 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 Jose. So I don't know where it originates from, to be quite honest with you. The words may be different, but that
Jose,
theme.
Jose, Jose, no way, no way. But no, they do it at the Canadians games or whatever. They do the ole, ole. That's what I've now read. But they love him, and he's in the ring, and he's looking down. He's got the aw shucks, and he's humble and lovable, is our dear Sami the Shoeshine Boy. Humble and lovable. And then he's
the right guy for you know what?
Oh, this is perfect. Yeah,
he's handled this just so well.
It's genuine emotion because he's proud of this, as well as him being able to be a great public speaker, which you can show emotion, but if you can't say "suey if the hogs have you," then that doesn't work. And you can talk all you want if you just sound like one of these artificial intelligent whatever. Although they sound better than some of the boys now. But anyway, he did a perfect babyface promo. And with emotion and inflection in his delivery, and he feels guilty. Well, he thanked the fans for the responses he's been getting. They chant, "You deserve it." And that's why he feels guilty that he let the people down, that he came just that short. And they're, oh, no, Sami, there's sympathy. He's building up some sympathy. But then he redeems himself in his viewpoint. He said, "I realize the story around here is never over, but we are entering the final chapter." Now, I'm not sure about that verbiage. He said the story is never over, but we're entering the final chapter. You can't have your Kate and Edith too, you rascal you. Oh, lady you. But it was a great babyface promo. It said exactly what needed to be said after he didn't win the title, but nobody's blaming him. And then he shifts gears. But there's one person I need to talk to. And you can tell the people wanted to see this. And they knew somehow these two were going to interact. I need to talk to one person, Kevin Owens. And the music plays, and he gets a big pop. Not as big as Sami's, but it was there. And he comes out to the ring and listens to Sami because he's got the non-committal kind of stern face on. And again, the pitch here from Sami, I'm not talking about a tonal pitch, I'm talking the sales pitch, was perfect. I guess I need to say thank you. I need to say I'm sorry, but we're past that point, I guess, of words with all that's gone on. Sami's voice was quivering. And he makes the proposition to KO that you only care about taking down the bloodline. And I want to take down the bloodline. but you haven't been able to do it alone, and I can't do it alone. But, and he builds it up, we can do it together. And there's the big pop from the people. Oh, they think they're going to see the joyous hug. And Owens, that cranky bastard, shuts him right down. I don't need thanks. I don't need an apology. I didn't do it for you. I did it for your family and for my family. My family had to watch me get the shit kicked out of me back at the wherever the show was. And I didn't want them, your family, to have to go through the same thing that mine did. And he fired up really good. And basically he said, I've been doing this alone and I'm going to keep doing it alone because I'm done with you. And if you need any help, ask your buddy Jay. And he walked off, and people were booing because they thought they were going to get to see that big hug. But this is perfect because we haven't tied everything up in the neat little bow. Now we got to wonder what the fuck is going to motivate grumpy old Grinch Kevin to finally re-embrace his ginger friend. And we've got, what is it? We've got 6 weeks to WrestleMania or thereabouts, don't we? 6 weekends of TV before we find out if and or when that KO and Sami will reunite against, Jimmy and Jay, potentially, if they're not. It's great. So I love the opening segment.
Considering who was in this segment, and you had to do something like this because the pay-per-view was over the weekend and everyone was talking about it, the buzz was there. But from here to WrestleMania, would you use these guys, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, I'll throw Cody on that list, the Usos, would you use them on both shows?
Well, as a rule of thumb, just say, okay, we got to do it. No, you don't want to do that. But Sammy's already been crossing back and forth. He can hop in
right
anytime he wants under cover of darkness in the hoodie, the magic hoodie. Owens may be harder to disguise or sneak in. They might have to wheel him in a piano case so nobody sees him. But no, I kid. I kid and I send the love. But yeah, they've got to be able to pop up. They're both working from different places to the same purpose, to get at the bloodline. So they've got to be able to pop up where they might not be expected in order to do something like that. And wouldn't it be fun if both of them independently of each other popped up in the same place trying to do something and fucking they had a double knockout and cross paths? Oh, there you are. I mean, there's all kinds of things they can do.
And like we talked about, Cody could be the one to unite them. And we still don't know how Jey Uso is going to fit into this.
Yeah, because already they know, and now somebody smart and or bald-headed and bulbous is having a heavy input in this program, and he at least knew, I think, because we knew. If we knew it, pretty sure he knew it. Maybe some of the other ones did too. That Cody and Sami had to be bosom buddies in some fashion and in support of each other's efforts before they went into this thing, or there could be some, rabble rousing on the issue, but they have already done that. And now, again, like you said, can Cody be the guy to reunite these former friends to try to take the bloodline down there? Or is it going to be a thing where Sami pitches the idea to Owens, and because that way it comes from him, that, hey, if you and I were to be together and stop the Usos, because maybe something will happen between Jay and Sami, and the fact that we've got this many ideas indicates, again, how much fun it is. Maybe then Sami says to Owens, if we stop the Usos, there'll be nobody to bail out fucking Roman when Cody fights him in the main event. If we do something with Solo, blah, blah, blah. But they're all working for the same ends. They're just independent until at whatever point they come together.
Cody shows up as a surprise on SmackDown, or you announce it in advance. Cody has a big announcement. He's going to make it on SmackDown this week, of all places. Shows up, calls out Owens, calls out Zayn, says, This is our one chance. It's like Star Wars. You have one shot at the Death Star. This is our one shot. And we can't wait around to see what the hell Jey Uso's going to do. WrestleMania, I take down Roman Reigns. This guy's come out and insulted my family. He's insulted me. I got one mission. I'm going to take down Roman Reigns. If we want to destroy the bloodline, you guys got to take down the Usos.
There you go.
There it is.
But then who's going to contend with that walking juggernaut, Paul Heyman?
Let's save that for later in the show, because the smile is growing on my face right now. Let's save that for later in the show. But let me ask you this, Jim. And again, we've recorded a lot in just a few days. But a few days out now, seeing more of the controversy online and the people who really had a major problem with Sami not getting the world title in Montreal at Elimination Chamber. Do you think Monday night should change the way any of them see everything? Or any final thoughts on that? I know we just talked about it for a few minutes, but
yes. It should. They should never had those thoughts to begin with for a variety of reasons. I mean, come on, people. Have we divested ourselves from reality here? And this is not an insult to Sami Zayn or, no, they shouldn't put the title on him, blah, blah, blah. I'll explain facts in a minute. But first off, how many of the questions that we just asked would we still be asking if Sami Zayn beat Roman Reigns?
It would all be about how would Roman get back the title somehow before WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, who wants to? But no, but maybe not before WrestleMania. Because it would. Because here's the thing: if they had put the belt on Sami and then took it back off of him for WrestleMania, then Sami Zayn is deader than a goddamn Kelsey's nuts, right? Deader than 4 o'clock. And so they couldn't do that. So then Sami would have to wrestle Cody. Well, what good's that going to do anybody?
Yeah, they're going to boo one of the guys.
And then somebody's going to say, well, they ought to have a triple threat. Well, then who's going to win that? Then you beat Roman again, or you beat Cody, or you beat Sami 6 weeks later. So no. And we wouldn't have been asking any of those questions because nobody would give a shit about who was going to take down the bloodline, because the big boss, the big dog, the head honcho would already been taken down. So who cares if somebody beats the Usos? And then you also, as we talked about on the experience, they're running a worldwide company. It was wonderful that atmosphere took place in Montreal. And if it was the territory days, you maybe should have made a different call because it'd be one of your main markets. And wow, and you can switch things quicker. But no, they're running the world. And they have planned and plotted and kept Roman undefeated for this long to be a big moment when the guy that they've anointed as the next guy beats him. And again, irregardless of his talent or the performances he's been turning in, for the WWE worldwide, Cody Rhodes is a better face of the company than Sami Zayn, which even he has said in interviews. I know I'm not the guy that they look for to be. He's a superstar, but he's not the superstar. And they're still going to go for somebody. If Sami even dresses up in a suit, his gimmick precludes him from doing that. They want somebody like Reigns that either looks fucking physically impressive and cool and how he dresses and acts and carries himself, or they want a guy like Cody with the suit and the height and the bloodline, so to speak, of the Rhodes family. Everybody's heard. If he didn't have the goddamn neck blotch, it'd be even more wonderful, but they took him anyway.
The biggest fucking mistake ever.
But that's why, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn can easily go and do promotions and appearances and publicity, and here's a WWE superstar, Sami Zayn, but it's not, here's the WWE champion. For that, they want somebody that has all of the fucking attributes, including the appearance. And as well, for business worldwide overall, the story they have told and are continuing to tell with Cody and his story and his path to winning it for my daddy, the belt they took away from my daddy in the garden. That's bigger, and it's better, and it's longer term, and it makes more sense.
And the Roman story. I mean, don't forget, Roman's been champion for all this period of time. He should lose it now, right before Mania?
And that doesn't mean that Roman Reigns is going to burst into flames and fucking disappear in ashes as soon as he loses, because then they have... Well, Roman wants to get the belt back. You're going to have to try to get a rematch with Cody, but wait a minute, Sami still wants fucking Roman. And for that matter, maybe Owen still wants... You know what? Boy, they're just a couple of baby faces short of a real War Games with a reason. And actually, they can't. I was thinking they can't put Haman in there like they did JJ. So
only if they put him in a bodysuit.
Oh no! Fuck! Only if they put him in a body bag.
Oh, don't.
That goddamn bump! The bump he took it to pay-per-view. I thought my DVR had suddenly zapped into slow motion on its own. But okay, Roman and Usos and Solo versus Cody and Sami and Owens and question mark, and there is a War Games match or any kind of match with a reason to fucking have it, instead of just a bunch of mismatched, disjointed people. So they've got, again, all the rematches with Roman and everybody that wants him, that he doesn't work every goddamn day, so those are going to take a while. But what about the reuniting of Owens and Sami and their eventual match with the Usos, unless the Jay won't come to the table? All that shit would be shot if they switched the belt. And so, no, and it's either from the smartest of the smart fans, or the news site people that cater to them and say what they want to hear, that, this magic moment when Sami won in Montreal, it was so good. I jacked off 16 times. And then it happened. I fell in my puddle of goo.
Oh, come on.
And I was disheartened. Wouldn't you be too? In a puddle of goo.
Okay, enough. This is no longer my show. My apologies to everyone who ever worked in the Brill Building ever. I don't know how we're going to recover, but...
No. They should have switched the goddamn belt.
That Benny King was a talented man. And
well, let's drift on back to the show, shall we?
That sounds like a good idea. I'll stand by you.
God damn it. All right. So, motherfucker. So,
goo is the word you went for.
I'm a little dizzy. So they went to the break when Owens had walked out, and when they come back from the break, and they'd done this in picture-in-picture. Does anybody watch the picture-in-picture? I've got a 72-inch screen in the goddamn TV room, and the picture-in-picture is still only about 18 inches across, and I'm sitting 10 feet away because I've got a 72-inch screen, and there's no audio.
My youngest daughter watched a lot of Raw with me this week because she was just interested in what I was watching, and she doesn't really watch wrestling, so she was into it. When the picture-in-picture happened, she looked away. She wanted me to show her stuff on the computer and do other things.
Yeah. So, but during that, Baron von Corbin came out and jumped Sami Zayn in the entranceway and roughed him up. And by the time they come back, he's in the ring, is the Baron. The Baron.
How dare you? Don't you dare.
Well,
disgrace to the name.
He is all the people need to know. And he's cutting a promo on Sami's. I'm the last person to beat Roman Reigns, and Fuck you. Could you tell that nobody now wants to see Baron von Corbin?
Yeah.
I mean, the people are just sitting there because they've already had JBL come out and call him everything but a fucking redheaded stepchild and dismiss him as a joke. And he gets beat by everybody. And now he's out there talking tough. And I don't even think if for the average fan with, that doesn't research this stuff or give two shits to look it up, I don't think anybody believes he beat Roman Reigns. I think they're just think he's saying that. So Sami gets pissed and Adam Pearce comes out and said, well, have at it. Just go right on. And so boom, he jumps in. And this is our first match. Boom, boom, boom. Sami Zayn and Baron von Corbin. And they go 2 minutes to the break. Okay, so they come back from the break. And I think they may have actually gone another 2 minutes. And Sami hit him with his kick and beat him. So thanks for wasting our time, Baron von Corbin. It's good to get Sami a good win. I certainly think that they can have anybody they want to beat Baron von Corbin. But when they build up to these or shoot an angle or just, like this is in any way important, and as soon as the match starts, they cut away from it. We get entrances, we get packages, we get commercials, we get plugs, we get long interviews, we get backstage out the ass. But whenever the actual meat of the program is taking place, a match, they go 90 seconds or 2 minutes and they go to the break, and they have trained their fans that the matches are the skippable shit. So anyway, what'd you think?
I agree with you, but I kind of saw this a little differently, and I saw this as almost another moment of Sami standing there and the cheers happening. They were going to give this audience on Raw, where Sami Zayn usually doesn't wrestle, Sami Zayn tonight. You got the promo, you got a Sami Zayn match.
Yes.
It happened to be against Corbin, but it's like when Hogan showed up to wrestle Johnny Rods one day. Holy shit, Hogan's here.
But why did they have to go to the break? If they're only going to show 4 minutes of the thing on the air, just have him beat him in 4 fucking minutes.
I agree with you on that.
And then go to the break.
But I'm not as smart as the producers over there.
All right, but it's just, again, they went longer in the commercial break for the people in the arena than they did actually on the air. So if you're not going to have a TV match that lasts more than 4 minutes on the air, just show the fucking thing and go to the break afterwards, because you demean the matches or degrade or diminish or whatever D word I'm looking for. And there was a sit down in the back. I'm not even going to talk about the backstage shit because it's all just either meaningless, nothing happens, or just blah. But there was a sit down with Rhea Ripley and Dominic, and God, they don't have the life they have in that atmosphere when they're in the ring live. And it's laid back and it's scripted stuff. And I don't know that those do any good for anybody. It's obviously prepared shit. But let's go to the next match, because the bell rang for match number 2 on this program, 49 minutes into the show. And that match was Dolph Ziggler versus Muhammad Ali. And
Mustafa Ali.
Well, see, if you don't know, don't
I know.
Try to pronounce his name.
I know.
Just let me do it.
I know, although they were...
Well, you've given him several names there now.
Well, so did they on commentary, if you listen to this match.
Well, I blinked and missed it, because instead of going to the break after 2 minutes, Ali just rolled him up in 2 minutes and beat him. Boom. There you go. Dolph Ziggler, my God, he's so talented. Does anybody now, or will anybody ever care about Muhammad Ali?
Well, Muhammad Ali is considered by a lot of people the greatest boxer of all time. Mustafa Ali, I don't know that he has fans. I don't see it. But They keep trying to get people to be into him. It seems like every time they try to give him a hard push, it just immediately turns back to he's doing jobs the next week on TV. With Dolph Ziggler, we have a guy who's undoubtedly very, very talented in the ring. He was a world champion. It's hard to even remember that because of the way he's been used for as long as you and I have been watching, at a minimum.
Yeah.
Do you see someone like Sami Zayn, someone who was working with Johnny Knoxville not too long ago? Do you see someone like that and the way someone like that was, because it wasn't just him and his talent, it was the way they were using him to use that talent. Do you see the rejuvenation of a wrestling personality? Is that a possible thing for someone like Dolph who's been there this long? Because he's one of these guys I think is really good. However, if I see him on Raw or in any of their shows, I mean, at this point, I don't.
Yeah, you know. They've just brought him in because he's the best worker, so he's going to be penalized for that by doing a job for whoever, trying to lead him through it by the nose. It's different with Sami. Sami was never a pushed, focused on main event level singles wrestler to the level that, like you said, Dolph actually won the belt at one point. And then he was just there too long, and they didn't have anything for him long enough that he became pigeonholed in this spot. And I guess at this point, he's probably happy with it because, he doesn't work that often and does his other shit and whatever the fuck, right? And I'm sure makes a lot of money. But the problem is that now he can't, if he went tomorrow to AEW or anywhere else, I don't think he can be a different person because he's been around so long in the biggest promotion that everybody knows who he is. And even under another name, you know who that guy is and who else works like that and looks like that.
Could you do Tracy Smothers with him? Sitting on his porch. Yeah, you know me. You heard what they said about me on TV. Well, here's not to that level, not the aw shucks of Tracy Smothers, but could you do that?
Could he basically come out on AEW television and go, look, everybody knows that I'm better than I've been presented as, and I was doing what I was told because I was under contract to blah, blah, blah. But it's been so long that he's been doing what he was told because he was under contract that people say, well, you signed new contracts. It's not like when Tracy did that promo after he left WCW, he was like, they made me somebody I wasn't, and I got out of there as quick as I could type of thing. And I beg your forgiveness because this is who I really am. And that worked, but he's been there doing this shit for 7 fucking years now. So, and I mean, the AEW fans would like his, he's been there longer than that, but he's been being jobbed to death, beaten like a rug for at least that long.
At least that long, yeah.
The AEW fans would probably like his talent, and he would automatically in ring be in the upper 5 percentile of the AEW talent roster. But in any promotion, could anybody take him seriously as a threat to the singles title picture after the way they have just pulverized him? It's a shame. I don't know.
New haircut, comes out there, denounces the name Dolph Ziggler. That's not my, that could be the Tracy-ish part of it. That's not my name. Instead of Casper, Wyoming, the name. Dolph Ziggler's a ridiculous name. That's not my name. That's not me. This is who I am. Again, crew cut or something. Sorry if you like your hair.
No, not. Actually, I said when he was Nick Nemeth in OVW, he had pretty close to a crew cut, and he looks better this way. He looks like a rock star instead of a fucking CPA. But that's, again, how can I miss you if you won't go away is the theme of modern wrestling. When guys are under contracts for long periods of time, and or when they're under contracts for large amounts of money that they're paid to be flunkies more than they can make being a star almost anywhere else, eventually that damages and eradicates their positive public image.
But you
can't, only the most, I hold that thought, only the most premium of talent, the Undertakers and Austins and whoever the fuck, can be a main event guy nonstop for years and years and years in the national promotions. And if you stick around after they've run out of things to do with you and are not going to feature you anymore, then that's what you run the risk of being pigeonholed as a flunky forevermore. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, whether it's Sami going from jackass to Roman Reigns, or Baron Corbin going from homeless to jobless. I don't know what he's about to be. Or Dolph Ziggler here, having long hair or maybe getting a new haircut and starting anew. Renovation seems to be the theme here. And a lot of people say that some wrestlers are like your old bathroom. You need to get some big men to come in and renovate it. Some people say that.
Some people, I've heard them. I've heard them on the streets. They say that. Some people say that these old used up wrestlers are like your bathroom, and that they've got mold in the tile and they've got funk in the grout. They've got grotten. That's rotten grout. Or, you've got a variety. Just if they just look old. They just look old and dilapidated and broke down. And there's been so many people that have been in those showers and used them, that they're all used up and they're wore out. And that's why, folks, if you would like to renovate your shower or bath, then you need to look no further, not to new wrestlers or old wrestlers. And I don't know about you, Brian Last, wanting large men to come into your bathroom. We'll talk about that at a later date. But look no further than the folks at West Shore Home. And do you hear me? I'm rubbing my hands together and clapping them with enthusiasm, because now that we have found West Shore Home and made a relationship with them, I can't wait for the things that they're going to do out here at the castle this coming year. I was going to wait for warm weather, but apparently that's already here, so they might be here sooner than I think. But West Shore Home is the fastest growing shower and bath remodeling company in the United States, and I'm sure you've seen the commercials, folks, if you're where the West Shore Home tentacles reach, because what they do is they come in one day. They start in the morning and they finish before dinner. It depends on what time you eat now. If you're a fucking 90-year-old woman, you're eating at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and going to sleep at 5. Well, it may not be before dinner, but nevertheless, they come in one day and they fully replace your old shower or bathtub with a modern shower or bath. They've got the step-ins and they've got the sit-downs and they've got their shelves and they've got designs, built-in seats, doors, windows, magnetic shower heads. This is space-age technology, folks, that they apply here. And the way they can do it in only one day, they don't just show up on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock and say, well, let us take a look at the thing and see what we can do for you. They come out ahead of time. They've got design consultants, remodeling professionals that come out and show you everything they can do, all the beautiful laser-etched designs in the shower they've even got, or the bathtub, all the different add-ons and the different extras and the different bells and whistles that can, well, you'll never leave the bathroom. Holy maga, use the stuff that we tell you to on the other programs, like with Seed, and you'll never leave the bathroom. You'll be going from toilet to shower to sink and back again. We need a toothpaste sponsor, Brian. We'd have everything covered.
This sounds like a good reason to renovate your bathroom. You're going to be getting a lot of usage.
Exactly. You're going to be bouncing from one place to the other in that bathroom. You're never going to see your family again. You're not going to want to leave the house or the bathroom. So they come out and they show you all this stuff and they get everything the way that you want it. And then the remodelers come and do the one-day bath replacement. Fast, easy, and convenient. No work for you, plenty of work for them. They're going to be sweating and straining. Holy mackerel, they're going to be picking stuff up. It's so heavy, they're going to fart like a fucking foghorn every time they strain up under it. But they're going to do everything. You do nothing. And let the dog go in and raise his leg and piss on them. They won't care. They're single-minded in their purpose. They're right in there until they finish. And then your old, rusty, worn-down, leaky, moldy, smelly shower with the fungus growing in the drain and the hairballs that seem to be everywhere will be completely gone, and it will be instead a beautiful and sanitary surface for you to clean yourself or bathe or eat dinner in your tub or make bathtub gin or whatever you do.
Or vodka?
Vodka, well, if you're Russian, you could make bathtub vodka. Folks, right now, you need to call West Shore Home if you live in or around these places that West Shore Home has established themselves in. I will tell you where they are. Louisville, Lexington, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Pittsburgh, Harrisburg, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Richmond, Salisbury, Virginia Beach, Winston-Salem, Charlotte, Greenville, Asheville, Knoxville, Chattanooga, Charleston, Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, New Bern, Columbia, Atlanta, Jacksonville, Orlando, Ocala, Tampa, Birmingham, Huntsville, Montgomery, Oklahoma City, Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Phoenix, Denver, Colorado Springs, and Salt Lake City.
Amazing. That's so impressive. Wow.
And they do windows and doors.
Wow.
Check out the website to see which locations that you can request the free window and door remodeling preview, where they will close you up in your home and you'll never be able to get out.
No, that's not how it works. Don't say that.
Well, one of these days you'll find out, kid. Right now, go to promo.westshorehome.com/Jim. Don't forget about slashing Jim.
Jim, not gin.
Jim, that's what I said.
Not gin.
Jim.
Okay, good.
My name.
That's right.
You're still drinking the bathtub gin. They don't slash the gin. They just bring you the bathtub. You got to make the gin. Promo.westshorehome.com/Jim. As I said, don't forget about the /Jim, or we won't get the credit for sending you over there. And I got some windows and doors that need some attention this year. So anyway, promo.westshorehome.com/Jim. Get rid of that stinky, smelly, moldy shower or bathtub. And especially if you've got in-laws or relatives or delicate female members of the family going in there, you don't want them to be smelling that funk. It smells like a man eating Fremunda cheese in the septic tank of a slaughterhouse. Get a new bathtub and shower. Don't be growing green furry shit. WestShoreHome.com. Promo.westshorehome.com/Jim.
That's right, Jim. West Shore Home. And of course, maybe we could ask them to come in here and rejuvenate and renovate this program, or maybe they can rejuvenate.
Would you like me to sing again? Everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exception to the rule. Listen, baby. I'm sorry, I just crossed my mind. Go ahead.
When I was a kid, we thought it was Everybody is a Fool. We used to sing that.
How about the Bee Gees? More Than a Woman? People thought it was Bald-Headed Woman. Bald-Headed Woman.
Really?
You heard that one?
I did not know that one, no.
How about Jimi Hendrix? Excuse me while I kiss this guy.
That one I know.
Yeah.
There are ones I know that like no one else would ever think of, and
well, I'm sure they are, you humble and lovable soul.
The versions I came up with, I think, are better than the original, or at least I like them better now. You know the Harry Nilsson song the Monkees did, Cuddly Toy?
That's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut. It was actually a hit. It was actually a hit, but I guess
what?
Some people just don't know the hits. But
cuddly fucking what?
Cuddly Toy, not cuddly fucking. I don't know what you're doing over there with your furry friends. I'm talking about Cuddly Toy by Harry Nilsson, but later covered by the Monkees.
Where did that stop on the top 40 charts?
Hold on.
You're calling it a hit.
Hold on, because you have to make this about the Monkees. Hold on.
Well, you're not going to make a monkey out of me, pal.
Cuddly Toy. No, this is.
I'm not going to have my Monkees discography fucking knowledge maligned with you saying that this was a hit.
Hold on, Monkees. I'm trying to find. There's no Wikipedia for the actual song.
I'm not surprised.
Cuddly Toy. Chart placement.
I can run down to the
Monkees.
TV room and get my book of Billboard Top 40 singles.
I got my discography over here. I was trying to do it quick on the fucking computer. Cuddly Toy song. This is Who the fuck is this? This is not the
Somebody
song
has ripped off Cuddly Toy?
Yeah, this is Beverly Knight. I don't know who this is.
Well, how dare that bitch?
Hold on. Don't say that. You don't know who she is. She could be a nice person.
She don't know who I am. She better find out, because who's left? Who's left from the Monkees? Poor Davy Jones is in the locker.
Mickey Dolenz is the only one
Mike
left.
Nesmith, okay, on behalf of Mickey Dolenz, I'm calling Stephen P. New if this bitch has stolen Cuddly Toy away from the Monkees. So where did it chart?
Hold on. I just grabbed my Great Rock discography from over here on the count on the wall.
Well, now, do you know or is it by date or by alphabetized by song? Because you're going to have to flip through a number of years there to.
Oh no, this book gives you, for each artist, if they're in here, it gives you every chart placement they ever had.
Well, there you go.
And it's another book that disrespects the Monkees. They're not even in. Oh, here they are. Okay.
What?
They're in here as Monkees, not the Monkees. I should have known better. All right, Cuddly Toy. Pleasant Valley Sunday.
Yeah, I'll buy that. Written by Neil Diamond.
Hold on, I gotta find it. Written by no, it was not written by Neil Diamond. Actually, you're wrong.
Wasn't it?
No, it was not. It was written by Carole King, I think.
Son of a bitch.
When she was living out here.
Neil Diamond did Daydream Believer.
That's right. That was the next single. No, he didn't do that one either. Actually, he did.
Well, which one did he do?
He did "I'm a Believer."
I'm a Believer, not Daydream Believer.
No, you're thinking of Andy Kim.
Oh, Andy Kim.
Hold on. The Purpose song, Someday Man. Don't tell me it wasn't a fucking single. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Shush. Hold on.
Uh-huh.
It was like a single because they gave it a video on the TV show.
It was like a single.
It was like a single. Oh, this is a bunch of crap. Good, clean fun. I don't even know this song. It's not here. Fuck.
Uh-huh. All righty then. So, Cuddly.
But anyway, in the song, just to finish this, in the song, the lyric is, "You're not the only choo-choo train left out in the rain the day after Santa came." I thought it was, "You're not the only choo-choo train who was left out in the rain the day of the 7th game," which is like, wow, that's so profound. If you know anything about sports, it's like, wow, this is incredible. And that's not what he says at all. But back to Raw. Raw rolls on.
We had to sit through all of that.
You didn't have to.
To get to another one of your baseball. You got baseball on the brain.
It doesn't have to be baseball. It could be any 7th game.
It just happens that there's a 7th game of the World Series.
And there's a 7th game in the NBA.
Well, all right.
Thank you.
Basketball, baseball, whatever. Let's get back to the wrestling. 9:00. The hour came. It was time for Cody Rhodes. Because you can tell they've obviously got a lot of faith in him. They're giving him the prime spots on the programs coming up at the top of the hour, et cetera, et cetera. He's doing a wonderful job with them. Did you see the sign in the crowd on his way to the ring? Roman's worst nightmare, Nigtmare. And the crowd was chanting Cody, Cody, and they're in Canada. So if this crowd was going to, fire back at him for Sami not winning, they would have taken some of it out on Cody. So he gets in the ring. As soon as he says his first words, so there's Paul Heyman on the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls and children. Oh, that's the other guy. Paul had both belts and a neck brace on, and not even the fucking Andy Kaufman kind of, soft neck brace. He had the cervical collar on, which I don't know how they found a cervical neck collar that was like a tube straight up and down, because Paul doesn't really have an indentation for a neck there. It just goes from ears to fucking shoulders. So he kind of looked like the juggernaut.
I feel like you get revenge for every comment he made on TBS in like 1988 and 89. Every time you talk about it.
I do nothing but put Paul Heyman over and praise him for his verbal ability and that he's the best promo and one of the greatest minds in wrestling today. And it's not my fault that the natural thing to also talk about is his completely repulsive physical deterioration, because he remains 3 or 4 years younger than me. And I don't want people to forget that. But anyway, Haman's on the screen. And Cody said, well, where are you, Paul? Why don't you come out here? No, I'm backstage. And I was mauled Saturday night and subjected to the miserable Canadian healthcare system. But I've faced as close as I'm willing to be to face. You can't beat Roman Reigns. And then, Paul, it's a mind game, as you will see that they're playing. It's masterful with Cody, where Paul tells Cody the story. What's going to happen if the impossible happens? And he did it much better than I'm going to do it here. I'm just summarizing. But if the impossible happens, what will your life be like? Roman Reigns has me, the wise man, but you're going to be an indentured servant. Life on the road, 200 days a year. Defending the titles, 50 days of charities and red carpets. I don't know if I believe everything else. I believe 200 days a year on the road, 30 days overseas, 20 days promoting big events. I'm not sure about 50 days of charity and red carpet, but nevertheless. And when he gets home, he's going to, if you got 60 days left over, you're going to be on Spike calls or Skype or whatever they call it, he said. And Zooms and meetings. Do you want that life for your wife and child? But don't worry, Cody, on those cold winter nights when you're away, Roman Reigns will be there to keep your wife warm. Because it's going to be open mic night, bitch. No, I've just realized, there you go. There's the baby face. The War Games 5-on-5. Roman, Solo, Usos, and Haman versus Cody, Sami, Kevin, and Brandy. Just put Brandy in there.
Maybe she could bring back Awesome Kong and Mel. She could bring back the Nightmare Collective.
I forgot they shaved that girl's head and never showed her again. Mel, here's our girl Mel. I wonder how her hair's doing now. It's been a few years.
But he didn't say that. He said that he was specifically not saying that Roman Reigns will be there keeping his wife warm. He'll be there.
Well, true. He said, he said, what was it? How did he phrase it? No, that's not. Roman Reigns is a very happily married man, but I'm not. I thought he had kids. Did he? What?
Doesn't mean you have a wife.
Well, but is he mad at his wife, or what did he?
Well, I don't know if he's married any longer.
Did he go to one of those Michael Jackson clinics to have his children? He's talked about it. I'm not talking about the man's personal life and family on the air now. He's done interviews saying, when I had children, then things changed for me and blah, blah, blah. So he's acknowledged he's had children. He's never been married. Did he have a test tube situation going on? What the fuck? We need to find out more about that.
I believe he's married and divorced. Asked and answered.
All right. Well, there you go. See, that was easy, but we never heard about the wife. Whatever
conspiracy theory you came up with.
We never hear about the wife. So I was wondering if it was Debbie Rowe, perhaps?
Debbie Rowe?
Remember Debbie Rowe? She was one of Michael Jackson's surrogate mothers. She made some money. Paul dresses well. He's made some money. Maybe he's...
I thought that was the woman who worked the door at the ECW arena, Debbie Rowe. But anyway.
No, that was Row Your Boat. So, anyway, Paul says that, Cody, your WrestleMania dreams will become your own personal nightmare. And then Cody just dismisses Paul and turns to the camera and said, you're great, Roman. You're great. Don't send this man to me again. Are you a warrior or are you an errand boy, Kabuki? No, that was Dusty. You're the greatest champion of all time, Roman, but I have to finish the story, and I'm going to beat you at WrestleMania. So he just disregarded Paul's mind game attempt, and he's spaking. He's spaking. He's spitty. You don't want me to spit in your face, Lance Russell? Tojo said that one time. He's speaking directly to Roman when he's... This whole thing is just falling apart.
I agree agree, though. He's spaking.
He's spaking correctly. He certainly did. Right to him.
I love that we are now one step closer to Haman being out there cutting a promo, and all of a sudden we hear, "Who told you it was open mic night, bitch?" And here comes Brandy. It'll be the greatest thing ever. This is great. You know what? Cody's great. You know, I've said it before. It's the difference between the stuff he's doing here and the stuff in AEW. At times in AEW, it felt so disingenuous just because of the word selection at times. It's working a lot better here.
Yeah.
And when he looked into the microphone and you look in his eyes, that's all you need to do. Just let him do that.
Cody is coming up with this material, obviously, but there's people here, qualified people that are allowed to produce things. And in AEW, Cody was doing his own shit with nobody to say, well, you know, change the to a and, you know, just tweak it a little bit. And he didn't have people surrounding him that were going to give performances up to the level of Haman's or Sami's and he didn't have the television production crew that was going to be able to shoot this whole thing and put it together in this fashion. And we've said that Cody is perfectly at home in a sports entertainment big setting with other people that can hold up their end of the thing. And he was, you know, floating around and almost an anomaly in AEW. But there you have again, Cody and Paul. So we got a good interview at the start and a good interview at 9:00 and pretty much cockeye in between. Go ahead.
What is there until WrestleMania? 6 weeks?
Somewhere around there.
What do? I mean, do you have him and Roman get physical before Mania, or do you keep it where even if they face off, there's nothing physical? It's just a battle of words so that people can't wait to see that. I can't talk. So people can't wait to see the fucking match. What do you think they should do?
You know, in over 6 weeks, couldn't they do one of each? Because, you know, a lot of times something is diminished by having physical angles. And that's something Shitstain used to do. If you had 6 weeks for a pay-per-view, he'd have the guys in the goddamn feature matches fighting and beating each other up back and forth so much to the point that finally you didn't want to see the match because you'd already seen all this shit, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But if it's the right idea and if it's executed correctly, I don't see any reason in the world that shortly before, you know, the go home period, last week or 10 days, that Roman couldn't. I'm not talking about coming out there and just slaughtering Cody and just leaving him laying and bashing him with chairs, all this stuff they've been doing, but some physical thing and not leave him laying there flat on his face, but to hurt him physically about the same amount as his pride is hurt at the same time, to just give him that extra and get a little shot in on him. And also, I think they could certainly have some type of verbal exchange with Paul involved and Cody and that's going to be, I would think, if they have the material, and I don't see why they wouldn't, that could be great too. But you don't want to see them face to face every week. You don't want to see them physical every week or even more than once, I don't think. And, you know, just space it out. 1 week, something happens. Next week or two, summarize it with packages and flesh it out with the individuals, but they're not together. And then billboard what's going to happen next week or whatever. When it was last week that this happened, but next week so-and-so is going to be back to whatever the case. That's not a long period of time to do something like this. And in the meantime, you've got shit going on in the periphery that we already talked about with the Usos and Kevin and Sami and Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
You think
Speaking of them,
this could be a long-term thing, and if Roman's really going to take any time off, if that ever happens, or if this is the extent of the time off schedule that we're going to get, and Haman has more time, Cody's a perfect Haman project. Not that Cody needs someone to coach him, although at times he does, maybe with promos, but long-term, a Cody versus Haman feud, post-Bloodline, That could be good down the road because it's just about promos. It's about emotion. You can get it out of those guys.
And that could be like the Heenan and Hogan arrangement where Heenan was always finding somebody to try to take Hogan down.
It's like everything that Paul grew up with. You had 3 heel managers who never took bumps, and they always had a cast of characters coming in, and the credibility was on the manager until those people made it. And usually the manager's credibility was enough. I believe Paul is one of the people that believes that a lot of those Bob Backlund sellouts should be attributed to Lou Albano versus Bob Backlund, as opposed to Bob Backlund versus Samoan number 3 or whatever it may be. So, I don't know.
They actually did that, by the way, folks. A Samoan number 3 one time. Brian's not kidding.
Samu. That was when Samu first started, and they didn't want to call him Samu for whatever reason.
So Samoan number 3 was better.
Here's
than...
Alpha, Sika, and Samoan number 3.
Well, speaking of the number 3, we're up to the 3rd match. Oscar versus Nikki. And we were an hour and 18 minutes into the program when the bell rang for match number 3. But before they touched, Bianca's music played, and she twirled and skipped to ringside to watch. And so we were about an hour and 20 minutes in the program when the match actually started, and they went 2 minutes to the break. And when they came back, they actually went 4 more minutes. 4. And Oscar won. And then Oscar and Bianca stared at each other. And then Oscar vomited blue food coloring. And I'm not kidding. They were staring at each other and pointing at the WrestleMania side. And then I've seen people do this out in, when they've been over imbibed, that she put her hand up to her mouth like I'm going to catch this, and suddenly boop, and all the blue food coloring came out. And she giggled. Something like you are now.
I was watching with
it sounded a little more masculine.
I was watching with my daughter, and she was trying to get me to explain to her what was happening, and I said, I can't explain it. She's very excited. That's why the blue stuff came out of her mouth.
Yes. Honey, just remember, when you go through puberty, when you get excited, blue stuff will come out of your mouth.
No, but you see, mist, you can at least kind of explain. You can be like, well, there's some kind of magical thing, and they shoot different color of mist out of their mouths. And it just drips all over the place. There's no explanation.
And the people on OnlyFans have to tip extra for that, too.
Oh, stop it.
They call it squirting. And...
Oh, you're on a roll today.
So that's what happened there.
Good match.
Yeah.
You know what, though? Can I say I liked it? Good match. Fans were silent. That has to be pointed out.
Because it was a match. At this point, it's not even who's in it. It's just that they're trying. Can they get this match out of the way so we can see another entrance and a promo? They did a package on Brock and Lashley that was almost as long as the match itself at the pay-per-view. And then MVP was in the back with Almost, and they challenged Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania. Show up next week, Brock, if you accept.
I can't wait. This is the true main event of WrestleMania. This guy taking the F5 from Brock Lesnar is the main event of WrestleMania.
I know Brock can pick him up, and I bet he can F5 him, but the guy's arms and legs are so long, Brock might put his eyes out or something. But Brock versus Almost at WrestleMania.
I'm intrigued to see it. However, of all the options to do with Brock for WrestleMania, it is puzzling that this is the one they went with.
Maybe it's a false booking. They've false booked it, and something's going to happen between now and then that will get. Because you know what? I've realized what they've done now. Because we said after the pay-per-view, well, boy, we don't ever want to see Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley again. But now that we think we might see Brock Lesnar against Almost, we're rooting for it to be changed to Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
It's going to end up being Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Business and Brock Lesnar against Uncle Howdy and Bray Wyatt.
Well, I think they need a couple more people on the side of Brock and Bobby and the Hurt Business if they're going to fight both Bray and
If they're going to
Captain
stand a
Howdy.
chance. Yeah, that's right.
So the next match was Miz versus Rollins. Seth Franklin Rollins against The Miz. The bell rang at 1 hour and 41 minutes into the program for the start of match number 4. In an hour and 41 minutes, we've had 12 minutes of wrestling on our screen. And they went 2 minutes to the break. And I mean, I'm not complaining because, again, The Miz, the fucking Miz, The Miz. But we come back from the break and holy shit, they went 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it. I thought they were going to go Broadway. And then Seth hit a curb stomp and then another curb stomp. And the referee said, well, don't do that again. So he runs around him and hits another curb stomp. And the referee stops it and said he can't continue. Seth, you're the winner. And there's Miz flat on his face again. At least maybe Miz is the new Dolph Ziggler. Instead of a guy with talent being jobbed out, it's just a guy that we were praying to be jobbed out is finally being jobbed out. Well, then they broke with the tradition that they have been doing at the 10 o'clock hour, or maybe they just given up, but at the 10 o'clock hour, instead of star power, intrigue, excitement, we get Bayley's talk show, Ding Dong Hello, with Bayley and Kai and Sky. And they've got a fake door with Ding Dong Hello on it and a potted plant and chairs. And they come through the fake door. And I said, ding dong, no way. And I hit the fast forward button. And then here comes Becky Lynch. And I'm like, ah. And then here comes Lita. And both of them entered the ring, and I was about to say, well, I'll wait and see what happens here because it's Becky Lynch and Lita. And Bayley told them, well, you better come through the door, and they did. They came through the fake door. And that's when I hit the fast forward for the last time. This took almost 10 minutes. For some reason, there's going to be a tag team title match now next week between Kai and Sky, and one of them still on crutches, which I guess is a gimmick, and the new team of Becky Lynch and Lita. Is this what I'm led to believe?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch any of this crap. Remember when Britt Baker for 1 week had her own interview show, and there was a door, and Cody was out there, and Jade came to confront him, and then Red Velvet...
And they walked around the door.
Red Velvet came through the door, I believe, to make the save because Brandy wasn't there.
But she came through the door to make the... Yeah. All right. So out of this, they went
the show's done once the main eventers are gone. I mean, it's like I say about AEW. If you know you're not going to see Cody and Haman again, you know you're not going to see Sami or Owens again, there is, I mean, for me, I've seen so much of Edge recently, at least it feels like that. I wasn't looking forward to the main event.
Well, I was till I saw it, but we'll get there. They came out of Ding Dong Hello to the back with Ding Dong Candy LaRue, updating us on Johnny Sameface and doing some kind of shtick with Nikki Cross where Nikki whispers in her ear that all her friends are gone and she feels so alone. And that so disturbed Candy LaRue that she had to break off the interview because she just couldn't speak right at that point. So the happy nut that's running around like Roughhouse Fargo outside is now back and sad because her friends are gone and she's all alone. Is she going to be schizophrenic? Is she going to, half of her is going to be a heel and half's going to be a baby face? Is anybody going to give two shits? I just answered my own question.
All of her will be fast forwarded.
There you go. Speaking of which, the next match was Shush Gable against Bronson Reed. And we've had 19 minutes of wrestling in 4 matches, and the bell rang at 10:15 p.m., 2 hours and 15 minutes into this fucking program. And again, I'm not upset about this match because it was Bronson Reed. He fucking beat him up and splashed him and beat him in 3 minutes. They're getting the guy over like a monster, and that's what they need to do. So there was nothing wrong with this match on this program. It was everything else on the program that we'd got this far and we've seen almost no action. So, but I like they're putting Bronson Reed over, and I can't think of a better person to beat than Shoosh Boy, because fuck. Did you sleep through that one?
Yeah, I didn't. I'm not watching Chad Gable anymore. That's kind of done.
Okay, so Ezekiel was in the ring.
Someone posted on YouTube, I did see this one comment. If he teamed up with Roosh, they could be Roosh and Shoosh. That's my only takeaway here.
Oh, what a douche. Anyway, Ezekiel was in the ring doing a promo. I know that's hard to believe, folks, but he was doing a promo. And he's telling Booger in the back to take notes. Remember, there's heat between Ezekiel and Booger. And Ezekiel now is a full-fledged heel. He said, there's no bigger star than me. Who wants to walk with me at WrestleMania? And the music plays. Here comes Bobby Lashley. And he hits the ring and beats the shit out of Ezekiel for about 20 seconds and runs him into the post and throws him in the ring and hits him with a spear and puts the hurt lock on him for 3 seconds and then throws him down. So he's a piece of shit too. And then Lashley does the promo that nobody can break the hurt lock and don't you dare disrespect. I'm going to be taking out people that disrespect me. There was no reaction to this promo because Bobby, he's the nicest guy in the world, and the tone in his voice tells you that. And we've talked about speaking is not his strong point, and I think they've diminished him badly with how they presented him, and they flip-flopped him. He was a heel in the group, and he's a baby face, and then he's turning back heel, but he's still not back in the group, but he might go back. And the promo, it just... what do you think?
I agree with you. He should be with MVP. Period.
Well, but now have they done unnecessary damage by the time they get that done? Anyway.
Here's a way you can repair everything. Have Bray Wyatt and all of his demons attack the entire WWE, causing everyone to have to form new factions and new friendships and renew friendships. You start anew. And then you kill off Bray Wyatt, and we go back to the way things are.
I thought you were going to say have Bray Wyatt and Captain Howdy attack the entire roster and get rid of all of them and start fresh.
If that means we still have Bray Wyatt and Captain Howdy, we can't do that.
That sucks too, man. There's some kind of a refund clause on his contract. Maybe. All right. We are now 2.5 hours into the program. We get Edge in the back talking about Austin Theory, the match for the U.S. title that is our main event. And at least in this case, Edge sounds like he's speaking instead of reciting. He did a good job. The material, obviously, a lot of it was probably his input too, but it was plausible. I know I'm nearer the end of my career than the beginning, but I've still got some unfinished business, and I haven't been here in this town in 18 years, and I'm so happy to be back. And, basically building up a little doubt in people's mind that whether he's going to win this belt or not in this next match, but at least he can speak. He can cut a promo if he has to and not sound like a robot playing a fucking tape. So he had some feeling in this. That was a decent job. But we get to the United States title match, Austin Theory versus Edge. The bell rings. At 10:40, 2 hours and 40 minutes into this program, we've had 22 minutes of wrestling action. And I was looking forward to this match because at least both guys can work, right? And Edge starts out, he's in control, and both of them, they look good and they can move, and you see they have professionalism to them, and to the break in 90 seconds. And when we come back, there's Theory's chasing Edge. Edge is suckering him around, trying to, sucker him into something, which he does. He gives him a big backdrop on the floor. Theory likes to take the bumps. But then Theory took over and started getting some heat. And then he went to a chin lock for about 2 or 3 minutes of this 5-minute segment. And then they went to the break again. And they come back from the break, and Theory's still getting heat on Edge. And Theory has great aggression. And they kicked it up in the last segment. But still, it never really got to where you were like, wow, this is, it was good. There was nothing wrong with it, but it didn't get to wow. And basically, finally, Edge made a comeback. Theory stopped him. They went back and forth a little bit. Edge got the crossface. Theory got a rope break. Edge hit his implant DDT and got a 2 count. And then he's setting up for the spear. And suddenly Balor jumps up on the apron. So Edge nails him off and rolls up Theory for a quick 2 count. And as Theory kicks him off, Edge goes into the ropes and Balor kicks him in the head. And he staggers back into Theory's finish. 1, 2, 3. Do they have that finish engraved on their locker room wall? Because don't we see, it might not be a kick, it might be a punch, or it might be a whatever, but different people doing the same thing all the time. Boom! Theory hit his finish, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, I didn't want the belt to change hands, nor did we think it was going to. It was a WWE finish, but then Balor comes in after Edge has earlier said, well, it appears it's all over. Now with the Judgment Day, I can move on. Balor comes in, beats Edge up, and gives him the double stomp off the top 3 times. So apparently this is not over. Even though Raw was over, this issue is not over.
It's over with me. I wish it was okay with these guys to move on because I've moved on. Will this ever be settled? Jesus Christ. Is Chris Jericho booking this feud?
Was I too hard on this match, or was it just a malaise from the previous over 2.5 hours?
I don't know. I'm not digging Edge's comeback as much as you or other people, I think, do. It was the end of the show. The crowd was kind of flat. I don't know. And then went right back to the Judgment Day. How's that not going to put a bad taste in your mouth? It's been nonstop Judgment Day and Edge. Edge and Beth got the win. Okay, that's it. The babyfaces got the win. No, now we got to get more of it. They got the win, right? Did they win the match?
They got the win.
Oh,
yes,
so yeah, it's over. It's over.
So it's over.
But like the criticism I have for AEW. If you're tuning in to see Cody, you know he's gone after his 1 segment. If you're tuning in to see whether it was Sami or Roman or whatever was going to be there from the pay-per-view, 2 segments because they got the Corbin match and then gone for the rest of the night. There was no, Jey Uso may pop up later. Or, we just heard someone has landed and they'll be here later in this long, long, long show. Nothing. So if you're tuning in to see the literal draws of Monday Night Raw, of WWE, of SmackDown, they're there, and once they're done, you know that they're done. So that's the problem. Forget about the overall viewing audience. I don't know how the numbers nosedive at the end of the show traditionally. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but for me, the enthusiasm in the show is gone after the enthusiastic things happening are gone.
Enthusiastically. I agree with you. And it's a slog to get through that thing. And I still can't understand why they can't, bring out another 20 or 30 of the 100 people they have under contract and get this shit to move a little quicker. Except for the matches are the only thing that move quickly.